The MTR says effectively no change in fares for most passengers for the rest of 2018.
Hello and a very good evening. MTR fares will go up by more than 3% next month, but there will be a 6-month fare rebate arrangement for Octopus card users and a new discount for interchange between MTR and more than 500 green minibus routes. So, as Winner Wong reports, there will be no actual fare increase for Octopus passengers during the rest of the year.
The nitty-gritty details on how MTR fares will change were revealed at the rail operator's headquarters today. It will cost 3.14% more to ride the MTR come June. But executives say a number of discounts on offer essentially means there will be no change in fares for most passengers in 2018. One of them is a 6-month 3% rebate for Octopus card users. There will be no price adjustment in 2018 for the MTR City Saver, Monthly Pass Extra, and Tuen Mun Nam Cheong Day Pass. The MTR Corporation also announced it will be collaborating with the operators of more than 500 green minibus routes. If passengers use their Octopus card to take the MTR, then a green minibus, or vice versa, they will get a 30-cent discount on the journey. This arrangement will last until June 2023. For the MTR, which recently posted a $16.8 billion net profit, a 30-cent discount seems a little meager, though.
If the journey ride is about, say, $3 something, which is not uncommon in the green minibus, the discount is talking about 10%. So we hope the passengers can appreciate our very best effort to do as much as we can in terms of offering concessions to passengers.
And in fact, I think this MTR is the first transport operator in Hong Kong to be offering an intermodal discount for the whole of the PLB green minibus fleet based on our own resources, really. So I think this is really unique, and we are the first to do it.
Executives also asked the public to consider the discount packages as a whole and explained the MTR Corporation needs to maintain a stable income to keep services up. Executives said the firm spends a lot of money on system renewal. Just last year, it spent $8.6 billion, which amounts to $36 billion over the past 5 years. It remains to be seen how these investments can make system failures less frequent. Lawmakers are also questioning these arrangements. Democratic Party lawmaker Lam Cheuk Ting considers these as only sweeteners and doesn't do much to make transportation more affordable for the public. Winner Wong, TVB News.
The MTR Corporation remains confident the local section of the Express Rail Link will enter service in September as scheduled, and that's despite hiccups during the high-speed railway's trial operations, including an incident in which some wheels of a train shifted out of position on a maintenance track. Christy Leung reports.
Another press briefing from the MTR Corporation. This time on 4 wheels that shifted out of position during a test run at Shek Kong Depot last month. This happened when the train was crossing a 6.6-meter-long curved section. The railway company said even when moving at a low speed on a curved track, the wheels would generate a relatively high lateral pressure. Thus deformed the I-beam ensemble structure and widened the track gauge. 4 wheels of the train in question then slipped off the track by around 2 to 3 inches. The design consultant's assumptions on lateral pressure turned out to be inaccurate.
In future, we will have more details in assessment on what the contractor proposed. We have now 4 maintenance tracks to serve the high-speed rail, the XL project. In fact, at the initial stage of operation, we don't need so many maintenance tracks.
For now, the firm plans to replace the I-beam ensemble structure with reinforced concrete walls under the rails.
The operator spent around 2 months on an investigation report, which has been submitted to the government today.
Not everyone is pleased with the findings.
That clearly is a major act of negligence. In the past 20 years, 90-some more % of all the major infrastructural projects in Hong Kong have been awarded to 2 design consultants.
He thinks it is time to introduce competition and there should be at least 4 design consultancy firms bidding for each project. Christy Leung, TVB News.
A magistrate has sentenced the chairman of the League of Social Democrats to 4 months in prison. Avery Ng was earlier found guilty of 3 counts of disclosing details about a corruption investigation. He remains out on bail pending his appeal, but is barred from leaving Hong Kong. Ng left the Eastern Magistracy this afternoon after being released on $20,000 bail. His lawyer cited a probation officer's report saying 200 to 240 hours of community service would be appropriate. The magistrate said remorse is a key factor in handing out community service orders, and that's something the activist lacks. Avery Ng was then given 4 months in prison for disclosing online that then Permanent Secretary for Home Affairs Betty Fong was being investigated by the ICAC in 2016. Lava from Hawaii's erupting Kilauea volcano covered a potentially explosive well at a geothermal power station on Sunday. A flow of lava is threatening another well at the site. Hawaii's Civil Defense Agency officials have reassured the public the power plant is sufficiently safe. That's after lava from Kilauea plowed through backyards and streets and burned dozens of homes. But as the state's emergency management agency says, lava has never engulfed a geothermal plant anywhere in the world before, and the potential threat is untested. Residents fear an explosive emission of deadly hydrogen sulfide and other gases should the wells be ruptured. Colombia is headed for its most divisive presidential race in decades after right-winger Ivan Duque unconvincingly won Sunday's first-round vote. Duque won around 39% of vote, falling short of the 50% threshold needed to avoid a second round. One-time rebel and leftist candidate Gustavo Petro got 25% support, triggering a runoff against Duque. It was the first time in the modern history of Colombia that a leftist candidate has reached the second round of a presidential vote. It's a prospect that has spooked investors and those hoping the vote won't derail the peace process. And still ahead tonight. A crackdown on suspected illicit TV set-top boxes. Welcome back to TVB News. Customs officers wrapped up a 2-day operation on the weekend and seized more than 350 suspected illicit TV set-top boxes. The operation also saw 8 people arrested. Kana Chu reports.
These set-top boxes allow viewers to watch movies and subscription-based channels. The problem is they are all believed to be illicit.
As far as we are aware, there are some local pay channels of television, cable television, as well as some other rather famous pay channels, movies, etc. I would say it is copyright infringement if you can watch paid content for free.
Customs seized 354 such boxes last Friday and Saturday from Sham Shui Po, Mong Kok, and Wan Chai in an operation to clamp down on the sale of illicit set-top boxes. The TV boxes seized had an estimated value of around $320,000. Fong noted there were issues with quality too.
The quality of the image was generally poor, and we did come across a lot of interruption with the signals, and sometimes it even didn't work out. For those who intentionally seek to have an illicit TV box, they might incur criminal or civil liabilities.
Officers arrested 8 people, including 4 shop owners and 4 salespersons. Customs officers warned that sellers of illicit set-top boxes are liable to a maximum penalty of $500,000 and 4 years behind bars. Kana Chu, TVB News.
The man at the centre of an acid attack in Tsim Sha Tsui yesterday appeared at Kowloon City Magistracy this morning, charged with 6 counts of throwing a corrosive fluid with intent to do grievous bodily harm. The 40-year-old is thought to have splashed his wife with acid yesterday at the restaurant where she works. The pair, together with 5 others there, were also injured. The prosecution said the police need more time to go through lab reports and statements of those wounded in the incident. The magistrate then adjourned the case until July the 9th.
A mainlander was today sentenced to more than 3 years in jail for money laundering. The sum totaled $180 million. Police said a Taiwanese woman reached out to them for help. She wired $7,000 to a Hong Kong bank account for investment purposes. Officers later tracked down a 41-year-old woman. She claimed she lent her account to a relative and had no idea of the transactions. Between 2011 and 2014, $180 million went through that account. The mainlander was today given a 40-month jail term at the district court. It's rather impressive.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's the news.
Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.